The Beatles' 1970 hit Let It Be is often considered one of their best songs.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
It appeared on their final studio album of the same name, and was their final single before Paul McCartney announced his departure from the band. But what makes this song so iconic and timeless? And what's it about? Welcome to the very first episode of Behind the Lyrics. Before we can look at the actual song itself, first we have to dive into the state of the Beatles at the time. By 1968, the Beatles were beginning to become distant from each other. They were expected to spend all their time together. Sure, they were friends, but they were getting older. They had families, and they didn't want to be around each other constantly. Their next project was Let It Be, where they would be making an album and a film at the same time. However, the movie ended up showing how agitated the four had become at one another. There were several problems. Paul McCartney wanted to go on tour again, thinking this was the best way to build back up relations between them, but no one else wanted to do that, especially George Harrison. John Lennon invited his soon-to-be wife, Yoko Ono, to the recording sessions. The other three didn't want her there, but she stayed and would always take John's side in an argument. Let It Be turned into a disaster, and it really did more to tear them apart than it did to bring them together. In fact, they didn't even bother to show up for the premiere of the film. Afterwards, McCartney convinced everyone to come together and make an album just like they used to. And that's exactly what they did. They released Abbey Road in September of 1969. The Let It Be album, despite having been worked on before Abbey Road, would not be released until May of the next year. But by that time, the band had already broken up. Now that you have the background of what was going on at the time, let's actually discuss the contents and meanings of the song, Let It Be. At first glance, the song seems to have a lot of religious undertones. A person, Mother Mary, is referenced throughout the song, which can be tied to Mary, the mother of Jesus.
Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
Not to mention, the opening piano sounds like something you would hear at a Catholic church service. However, this just isn't the case. Paul McCartney wrote the song after having a dream where his mother, who had died of cancer when he was 14, had visited him in a dream and told him, "It will be alright. Just let it be." So the woman, Mother Mary, doesn't refer to Mary the mother of Jesus Christ, but rather Mary McCartney, Paul's mother. Despite this, John Lennon hated the song for its religious undertones. He told Playboy in 1980, "That's Paul. What can you say? Nothing to do with the Beatles. It could have been Wings. I don't know what he's thinking when he writes, Let It Be." On the other hand, when McCartney was asked about if the song was about the Virgin Mary, he stated the interpretation of the song was up to the listener. So technically, if you wanted it to be, the song could be about the Virgin Mary, but it really isn't. But the song isn't just about Paul McCartney's late mother, it's about accepting her tragic death and moving on. This song is a message to anyone who's lost someone important in their life. It's expressing that it may hurt now, but it'll eventually get better. This can be shown in the lines,
When all the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be.
Lastly, let's discuss instrumentals. Paul plays piano, John Lennon plays 6-string bass, which was later replaced by McCartney's own bass. Ringo Starr and George Harrison both play the normal drums and guitar, but it also had Billy Preston who contributed on the organ. Preston had been brought in by Harrison to try and break band tensions. There are a couple different versions of the song, but the most prominent version is the single version. The single version is different from the album version. The album version features the more stinging January 4th, 1970 guitar solo, no backing vocals except during the first chorus, a delay effect on Starr's hi-hat, and more prominent orchestration. The final chorus has 3 Let It Be lines, as the "There Will Be an Answer" line is repeated twice instead of once as on the single, before the Whisper Words of Wisdom line to close the song. The song would hit number 1 on the US Hot 100 chart position and stay there for 2 weeks, and hit the number 2 position in the UK. This was the 7th consecutive year the Beatles had received a number 1 hit. Well everyone, that's all for the very first episode of Behind the Lyrics, my new series that was a bit out of the blue, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you'll subscribe, and please go down in the comments below and tell me some ideas maybe for videos like this one in the future. Thanks for watching.